If you're gonna take JRPG genre and you're gonna combine with a little bit things like Pokemon or other stuff similar to that, and on top of that, you're gonna spice up things with a cooking, chiefs theme, and monsters coming from your food, you're gonna get something like this. This is Gladiators, a JRPG-like game where mostly you're gonna battle with other chiefs to obtain cooking glory. But first, I am Mardax and I'm showing you cool, interesting indie games so you can get to know them and decide if you want them or not. By starting, you're gonna say that the menu is more important than you may think, because not only you're gonna choose few modes you have here, currently we have Colosseum mode and Chief Stories, but also you're gonna here manage your chiefs and upgrade their knowledge about some recipes, which I will show you later in the video. Okay, let's start with Chief Stories, and the first chief you can learn her story is Eggy. She has prophecy in eggs, and also I love her little dancing. By the way, this game has a cool pixel art, which you're gonna see later. Also important is that to access to the new chiefs, you have to finish story of the previous ones. Iggy, rise and shine, my little chick. I'm up. Good morning, Evo. Hush, my little chick, you are going to wake up your sisters. We need to pick up some eggs to sell. You are great at picking eggs, aren't you? Yes, let's go egg picking. There is a lot of dialogues in this game, so I'm not sure if you're gonna read all of them for your safety. But what you saw before was the map for these stories, because each story has different map and they are packed with dialogues and cutscenes. And that's important because later you're gonna use them in Colosseum. Since I don't gonna read, I'm gonna tell you simply what's happening here, and the first part of the story is about egg picking. We're gonna meet few chickens here and we're gonna have to find their eggs. To-do list requests us to find 2 eggs, but we can find a third one in the coop. Francesca, whatever she's called, hid her egg somewhere between the trees where the one menacing chicken, which is Ruby, is hungry. The small interactions between characters and the chickens are kinda lovely, and personally I like them, especially that these are small puzzles that you have to do, like for example this broken coop where the doors are kinda broken and they open together each other, so you have to open them in the right order, and voila, there is a third egg. So after this we have to get back to the house, and here will be the main dish, if you can say that. The thing that separates this game from others is the cooking mechanic. There's a plenty of mini games that allow us to craft or create living creatures out from that, and we are using more or less real-world cooking recipes to do so. As first scenario is kinda also like a tutorial, the beginning is kinda slow, so we are just boiling the egg at the start. But to be honest, I love all the mini games the game have. They're creative and fun. What's more important, the all mini games have some kinda rules, and if you're gonna do this in perfect way, you're gonna get a perfect score, which your creation will gonna get a better stats, which is important for future and what's coming with it. Quick note, on the top you have a timer, so you have to do your cooking within the time. And if you have time, it's better to do another step, because like in real cooking, you have all the process, all the steps to create some kind of dish, and here also all the step is another mini game you have to fully fight. In case you're gonna do it, the food you are working on will gonna get stronger, better, with better skills, or just tougher to beat. So going a bit further in the story, Eggy can learn what Colosseum battles are. She is too young to participate, but the story lets us see what's going on and what is this about. And as you can see, this is like JRPG games where we have a team on the left, team on the right, and monsters created from cooking fight each other in order that is specified on the top of the screen. Each unit has its own skills, usually 3 of them, and they delivers different outcomes when we're gonna choose them. Some of the skills will be a pure attack, others will gonna add a debuff or a buffing for our monsters. So the fights can be really interesting because of that. Some skills lets you sacrifice some type of food to merge it kinda with other food to give it better stats. So it's cool. We can have up to 6 monsters or food we made of our cooking, and even if the game relies on the different type of foods and using different type of skills, because as I told before, some skills can buff or debuff enemies which we wanna, then still the more the better. If you're gonna have like 6 units against 2, 3 or 4, it's much easier to win, especially if you have more units that are aggressive and do a lot of damage to other gladiators, as they are called. Anyways, in the game there are used mechanics from other games, so for example, if you take the battle too long, every enemy and every unit starts getting damage. Like in many other games, you can shift position on the order bar, changing which enemy or which unit is gonna start faster, what can be sometimes really useful. And to be honest, also discovering new type of food or monsters is very interesting, because in this scenario, Iggy can only do things related to eggs, and they are kinda limited, so to learn more or discover more, you need to play other chief scenarios. Regardless of that, I think it's fun to see, for example, toast attacking omelette or croissant attacking peeled egg and more, which is cool. Used minigames and also monster designs are very interesting for me, and I think it's very creative. Going further, Iggy is older and we also gonna get more story of her past, so I don't gonna spoil you everything bad. There will be some bad things happen later, so that will make Iggy participate and start being a Colosseum fighter. There will be of course more cooking and new recipes to use. After picking the scenario, we are getting back to the menu, and as I told you before, we can upgrade our chief. By coins getting from fighting in Colosseum using Iggy, we can spend these coins to upgrade recipe arsenal for Iggy, and here we can unlock some recipes or unlock buffs, like for example higher chance to get double yolk in our eggs. We are starting from the golden plate, and then by unlocking the first one, we can access to another one connected to the first one. Next chief to unlock is Diane, which she is completely different to the Iggy, and like previously we are getting her backstory by playing this scenario. Of course she gets worse treatment in her past than Iggy, so she's much more colder and much more discipline obsessed person, but also in this scenario we're gonna play with other type of food, so we're gonna use another recipes and also another mini games. It's fun for me because each minigame requires you to play it differently, and compared to that after one of the latest updates we have 7 chiefs. Imagine amount of minigames that you have here. The game is marked as a JRPG, but to me it's more like a minigames cooking with fighting. But the most important element of the game, to be honest, is a Colosseum, and regardless if you wanna play against NPC or if you wanna play multiplayer, the chief's battles are the most important thing, together with cooking. By choosing your chief that you're gonna play, you are choosing their recipe arsenals, and from that you are starting to do cooking by creating your warriors, gladiators. And in the game there are different types of cuisine, because you have a French, you have Italian, you have eggs, you have raw vegetables, you have different types of cooking and different types of cuisines. What makes the game fresh, and all the monsters you're gonna create have their own stats, skills, which creates fights more unique and more fun. Also, because this game is in early access, I believe there will be more chiefs, making the game even deeper and more interesting. Because of course you can look on the game and say it's weird or strange, but this makes the game more unique. And find me other game where chiefs are fighting each other with their own food. Of course I had fun for a couple of hours with the game, but there is kinda a issue in my opinion, because I told you before that the more the better, yeah? And the issue with that is that it gets the fights really flat, in my opinion. If you have a team of 6 units and you are fighting against 2 or 3, you are easily winning, especially if you have units focused on attacking. So instead of using other skills, you just attack them and eliminate them one after another. Unfortunately, in my opinion, that makes some battles kinda flat. Also, multiple skills that our units have can be sometimes confusing how to use them properly. Of course, in the fights you can stop the game and read all the skills, debuff and buffs of each unit on the battlefield, but sometimes even if you wanna use them, it's hard to execute them to your favor. And then everything goes back to the just simply fighting and attacking, which works the best. Don't get me wrong, there's multiple skills that you can use. They all have different effects. They can stun, they can add debuff or buff your units, and the buff ones, they are cool, but the other ones not so much. Many of them don't work instantly, or they are requiring our unit to charge before they're gonna attack or add the effect, and in many fights just simply attacking brings better results. On positive side, the game is in early access and I didn't found any technical bugs. The game was running fine without the crashes, and up to this moment everything was working just fine. Another things are visuals. I really like them, and pixel art is very detailed. Our creatures or food monsters are creative and have fun designs, where even the dough can move and attack in kind of funny way. Our chiefs are moving, every background and stage is made in pixel art, so the game really looks cool. Cutscenes between scenarios and chiefs' portraits in dialogues are hand-drawn, which makes cool aesthetic. Okay, so do I recommend the game? If what you saw here was interesting for you, then probably, and if not, or if you are not convinced, then maybe just wishlist the game and check the future updates. There will be more content, I'm sure of it. If this channel helps you find your next favorite indie game, a like goes a long way, and tell me below, worth it or skip it.